Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we are going to do another episode of Late Night Videos. So, today on Late Night Videos, we are going to talk about some old games from the 90s that Marvel had. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, which is a 1997 video game. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is a crossover fighting video game developed and published by Capcom. It is the sequel to X-Men vs. Street Fighter and the second installment in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Now, the game was first released as an arcade game in 1997 and then received ports to the Sega Saturn in 1998 and the PlayStation in 1999. The gameplay and aesthetics of Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter remain similar to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Each player selects two characters to compete in a one-on-one tag team fight, attempting to defeat the opposing team. The game replaces most of the X-Men cast from the previous installment with characters from other Marvel properties. In addition, it introduces a new gameplay mechanic known as the variable assist, which would be used in future Marvel vs. Capcom titles. Much like its predecessor, the game received generally positive reviews for the gameplay, sprite animations, and character roster. The Sega Saturn version, utilizing the 4MB RAM expansion cartridge, was praised for being an arcade-perfect conversion. Due to the memory limitations of the PlayStation, tag team battles were once again removed from its port, resulting in more mixed critical reception. A sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of the Superheroes, which was released in 1998. Okay, so the Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is, again, like I said, the second installment of Marvel vs. Capcom of 2D fighting games. It utilizes the same one-on-one tag team as the previous game. The player chooses a team of two fighters, each sporting their own life gauge. At the start of the match, the first selected character is controlled by the player, while the second character remains off-screen and acts as supports. Using a combination of joystick movements and button presses, the player must execute various moves to deplete the opposing team's life gauges. The first player to completely drain the opponent's health is declared winner. If the timer reaches 0, the player that possesses the most health wins. The most notable gameplay change in Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is the addition to the variable assist. With the variable assist, the player can summon their off-screen character to perform a special move without changing their currently controlled character, opening new possibilities for combos during battle and greatly expanding the role of the secondary character. The ability to use assist would later become a central gameplay element used in future installments of Marvel vs. Capcom series. Now, the arcade, the Sega Saturn, and PlayStation versions of this game share the arcade mode and the versus mode. In arcade mode, the player fights waves of artificial intelligence controlled teams, culminating in a penultimate battle against the boss character, Apocalypse, who had previously appeared in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Upon defeating the Apocalypse villain, the player must win against the final boss character, Cyber Akuma. The PlayStation version includes 3 exclusive game modes: Training, Hero Battle, and Crossover. Hero Battle is an endurance mode which pits the player against characters that they did not select. Crossover, the player and the computer opponent fight with the same team of characters. If the player is victorious, then the computer swaps a character from both teams. The PlayStation port also features a gallery mode containing promotional and character art, which are unlocked by completing various goals. It features a roster of 17 playable fighters, with 9 characters from Street Fighter universe and 8 heroes from the Marvel universe. All the X-Men characters featured in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, with the exception of Cyclops and Wolverine, are replaced with characters from other Marvel Comics properties, such as Captain America, Spider-Man, and Hulk. Most of Street Fighter characters from previous game returns, with the exception of Cammy and Charlie, who are replaced by Dan and Sakura. The Japanese arcade and console versions of Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter include exclusive character named Norimaro. Norimaro is an original character created and owned by Japanese comedian Noritake Kanashi, who represents neither Marvel nor Capcom. Due to licensing issues involving this character, Norimaro is not available in international releases of the game. In addition to 17 immediately playable characters, the roster also contains 6 secret characters. The secret characters are palette swaps of existing fighters with different moveset properties, such as Dark Sakura, Mega Zangief. Captain America's and Blackheart's palette swaps are renamed U.S. Agent and Mephisto, respectively. Now, the development and release. As with the X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter was initially developed for the CP System 2 arcade system board. The game debuted in Japanese and North American arcades in 1997, and the game received a port to the Sega Saturn, exclusive only to Japan, on October 22nd of 1998. The Sega Saturn port supported 4 megabytes of RAM, expansion peripheral, allowing the developers to create a conversion which retained the original frame rates and tag team system. The game was then ported with the PlayStation in February 1999. Due to the console's limited RAM capacity, the tag team format was switched to more traditional RAM formats of other fighting game series such as Street Fighter. To compensate for removal of tag team gameplays, several new game modes such as Hero Battle, Crossover were implemented. According to former Capcom USA community managers and fighting game advisors, one of the primary goals for Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter was to tone down the insanity that occurred on screen when compared to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Developers also sought to achieve balance within the character roster. The previous title had gained a reputation for being broken, with characters having access to one or more infinite combos. These changes, however, were met with negative reception from fans who criticized the games for offering less freedom. This ultimately led to Capcom recognizing the theme of insanity as the hallmark of the series and using it as a focus for future Marvel vs. Capcom installments. In June 2020, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter was included in the home arcade cabinet for Arcade 1-Up, alongside with other games like X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes. In Japan, Game Machines listed Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter on their September 1st, 1997 issue as being the third most successful arcade game of the year. The Sega Saturn version of the game received favorable reviews, while the PlayStation version received average reviews. According to review aggregation website GameRankings, someone from GameSpot had praised the Sega Saturn port for its gameplay, character roster, graphics, sprite animations, and additional RAM support, labeling it an arcade-perfect conversion. However, it was faulted the game for being a near-carbon copy of X-Men vs. Street Fighter, while the PlayStation port also received praise for its gameplay and character roster. It attracted numerous criticisms, many of which were stemmed from issues related to the console's memory restrictions. GameSpot, IGN, and Game Revolution all reprimanded that the game for removing the original version's tag team-based gameplay. Randy Nelson of IGN stated that the lag of team fights negated one of the major elements that made Capcom's Versus series stand apart, resulting that the game was nothing truly special or different. Ryan MacDonald of GameSpot expressed disappointment over the port's lower graphical quality and cut animation frames. Game Informer had also complained about experiencing instances of slowdowns. However, despite the criticisms, reviewers claimed that the game as an improvement over the critically panned PlayStation port of the X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Now for the sequel, The Clash of Superheroes, it was released in Japan and North America in 1998. The game expands its character roster beyond Street Fighter series to include other Capcom video game franchises such as Darkstalkers and Mega Man. While its gameplay remains similar, Clash of Superheroes removes the variable assist feature in favor of a new system. It was ported to the Dreamcast and PlayStation in 1999 and 2000, respectively. High-def version of the game was also released in 2012 for PlayStation 3 and for Xbox 360 as part of the Marvel vs. Capcom Origins compilation. Now, if you guys have any comments about anything like that, just leave those down in the comment box. I'd love to read them. And then again, I'm going to probably do more videos like this on other nights. So right now it is like going on 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I figured this might be a video that might seem interesting for you all. So I figured, why not talk about it? And so I decided to talk about it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. And since we are going almost into 15 minutes in this particular video, I'm just going to close this video off real quick and just say that if you have any comments at all, please share them down in my comment box and let me know what your thoughts are on what I could do or what you want me to talk about in the future. And if you guys get a chance, please subscribe, and you guys have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.